Just when you thought cable TV could get no better, NSU SportsBeat is on the air. Mike Laderman with the good Dr. Pat Feely. And Pat, we've got a great show today because it's wrap-up time at Nova Southeastern.
We can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, yeah, we can. It's shining bright. It's not one of those big old ones above us. We got a real light at the end of the tunnel because the seasons are finally over. We're down to 2 teams right now, baseball and softball, and we just got done with tennis and golf. So let's do a little bit of a wrap-up, talk about Tom Burke's squad, talk about Dustin Phillips' squad, how they fared.
Yeah, tennis finished 4th in the Florida Sun Conference tournament, right about where Coach Burke thought they were going to be. Golf, on the other hand, finished 6th. Coach Dustin Phillips, I think, expected a little more out of the team by the end of the season. Early on, we beat some conference teams in tournaments, but coming into the conference tournament down at the Rail, I think the tougher course might have had something to do with our performance there.
Right, and now all of a sudden we have, just like we said, the 2 teams left to go, the big ones, baseball and softball. Let's talk about now the keys to success for both these teams as they go into the playoffs. First, let's start with baseball, because first of all, here's a team that right now, as of taping time, may not even make the playoffs. They're in a very tight race for that final spot, but yet we're going to assume that they will make the playoffs just because we know the talent level of this team. What kind of keys do they have to get them through this?
The conference tournament coming up, we really need good pitching and good defense, which right now we're pretty strong in both those categories. The pitching is coming around like we said it was going to in the past 2 or 3 shows, that sooner or later this pitching staff's going to move into motion, and they have. You got the pitching staff right now, the last 15 games or so, they've kept us in every game, and the defense has been solid.
And that's a far cry. It's a big turnaround from the way it was early in the season, when early in the season it was the pitching staff that gave us this big question mark, and the hitting was coming around. Now all of a sudden, like you say, the hitting really isn't coming through with the clutch hits.
Yeah, we aren't driving in the runs when we need to in those clutch situations. And some guys have cooled off. Ben Prill, we knew he wasn't going to hit 450 all year, but he's cooled off some. But you got other guys. Raul DeCastro's picked up some slack lately. Molina, some of those guys are getting hits, and their batting average is going up. It's just the thing about driving in runs.
Another big key for this baseball team, Pat, the defense. Talk about them for a little bit, because first of all, we've seen a little Rubik's Cube, everybody moving around all these different positions.
Yeah, right now you got Bryan Needle, who was a pitcher, playing shortstop because Jerry Simmons has a broken bone in his hand. Charlie Vaughn's now playing third base, and he's made the transition well from left field. You know, he's pretty solid at there. So I think now that everybody's had a chance to play their new position, so to speak, this team has come around.
Well, concerns for this baseball team, Pat? Absolutely, because let's face it, there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered, but nobody wants to face this night's baseball team in the conference tournament because they are a time bomb waiting to go off.
Well, when we get to the conference tournament, I think it's a situation where we need to play better defense than we have been playing. We need to have Felipe step up in our first game and get us into the winner's bracket. And then, you know, because Matt Bennett and Joe Giamulli have been pitching very, very well, I'm really excited about the possibility of having 3 really good pitchers going into the tournament. And then a 4th guy that's been pitching real well is Blake, and then we have, obviously in reserve, Todd Gittleman, who's been pitching in relief the last couple of weeks and has done a pretty good job there too. So I think we'll be a little bit stronger because these guys have gotten good experience during the season going into the tournament.
We're just going to have to keep playing the way we're playing right now. Play as a team, play together, do the little things to win, play solid defense, get good pitching, move base runners around, score runs. Just play solid the way we've been playing the last 4 or 5 games.
Defense is what wins games, defense and pitching. So if we can do that, we'll be all right, because we have some good hitters like Villano, Vaughn. Those guys are going to hit.
Well, people know we can play. We're very young. We got, you know, a young team. We got a lot of freshmen, but we also got a couple seniors and juniors that, you know, have stepped up and stuff. So it's going to be interesting.
No one really expects us to be that great because we have so many young kids. But I think we'll do so well because these guys have matured so much through the season that we should be tight by that time.
We're young and we've played a lot of games now. We got a few games under our belt. And with that, we should be able to roll. Now we have more experience. Everybody's playing together a little bit better. And we're doing fine right now.
You talk about the keys to success for the baseball team, and of course you have the pitching, the hitting, and the fielding that we spoke of before. But Pat, now we got to talk about the freshmen, because we're going to try and win a title with 3 freshmen playing the field.
Yeah, we have 3 freshmen right now in the starting everyday lineup, which early in the season we had 2, and now you got Bryan Needle's moved in, and he's now the everyday shortstop due to an injury to Jerry Simmons, and he's acclimated well moving over from being a pitcher. He's made some great plays in the field. His batting is coming around now. He's a little more comfortable at the plate, so I think he's going to be fine at shortstop. He's a good, solid defensive shortstop.
And 2 good guys in the outfield as well with Ayala and Villano. First, talk about Ayala.
Yeah, Tommy Ayala's had a great year out in center field. He's hitting .338 right now. I mean, he gets on base a lot. He's disruptive. He can steal bases. and he plays a great center field. He can get to a lot of balls. He's got great speed.
Get to Villano, though. Chris Villano, a guy coming in, trying to fill the shoes of Claude Love. That's got to put a lot of pressure on his shoulders when he first got here.
Yeah, that's big shoes to fill. As Chris came in, he was the starting center fielder to begin with, and of course filling the shoes of Claude Love, 4-year starter for the Knights. Probably the best player ever in NSU baseball history.
Well, Pat, Chris Villano, a great player coming out of Western High School, one of the top players to come out of Broward County last year. He had a lot of pressure on his shoulders coming into the program, but right now he's trying to answer the call for the Knights.
Chris is definitely a hard worker. He works hard in the cages. He's always the first one, usually here at practice, the last one to leave. He's a really good hitter. He's always got same pass at the ball, always meeting the ball square and just hits the ball hard.
When I first came in, I knew that they had a couple outfielders leaving like Claude, and that center field was open. That's what I was coming into play, and I knew that I'd have to battle, maybe for the position. But then when things were going all right, I was doing pretty good in practice and everything. I thought I might be able to get some playing time, and it turned out that I got a lot of playing time.
I think he's playing where I thought he would play. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence in himself, works real hard at the game, understands the game, and so for a freshman to come in and do what he's doing, he's playing more like a sophomore. He's not playing like a true freshman, so it's been a nice surprise for us.
I wanted to hit over 300, which was my main objective, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm second in the team in RBI, so that's my main focus right now. I mean, as long as I drive people in and do what I'm supposed to, I'll be playing.
He's done an outstanding job for us, and he's just going to get better because his work ethic is very, very good.
Yes, I'm very pleased with the way I've been performing. I think I've been doing a pretty good job in the outfield. Maybe I wish I could do a little better and maybe bat a little better at the plate, but I'm doing so far so good.
Baseball goes to its Florida Sun Conference tournament the first week of May, same time that the softball team heads to its regional tournament, and we'll talk to those Florida Sun Conference champions right after this.
Isn't in the scene cause it's written in the book. Painting on the meme cause I'm digging on the look. Conscript, like a log in the woods. I'm a gift that you get and you could.
Lung disease and other breathing problems are the leading cause of death in infants. But thanks to the American Lung Association's efforts in research and education, more kids are able to grow up to become what they were always meant to be, a real handful. Help us fight lung disease and air pollution. Call 1-800-LUNG-USA, because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
During the Gulf War, alongside our full-time troops stood another important group of people, the men and women of the National Guard and Reserve. In fact, they make up over 44% of our nation's defense. It makes you wonder where we would be without them. When your employees need time off to serve, be a hero. Give them the freedom to protect ours.
1, 2, 1, 2. Larry, this simple exercise can help you stay healthy, which keeps medical costs down.
But you gotta do it every day, Vince. Or you'll get out of shape fast.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Which child deserves to be read to? This one? Or is it this one? Which child will learn to use a toothbrush? Who will have a chance to sing? The choice is yours. Volunteer for Head Start. With your help, more low-income preschool children can get what other children already have. Change the world of a child, and you change the world.
Hey, welcome back to round 2 of NSU Sports Beat. Michael Laderman back with the good Dr. Pat Feely. And Pat, this round we've got to talk softball because what a story they've been this year.
Yeah, what a story indeed. Right now they're 42-4 overall. They've won 19 in a row, 32 of their last 33. Listen to these team numbers. Team batting average 356, team ERA .68.
And everybody's doing the job. You can't really just pin it on one person. It's the entire team, from those that are out there in the field getting the starts to people coming in off the bench. Everybody has their roles, been doing their job, and they've been doing it well.
Yeah, they have indeed. And you look at the starters. Every one of the starters is hitting above 300 except for one who's at 295, so she's right there knocking on the door.
All right, Pat, so as this team goes to the Southeast Regional Championships, what are the keys to success going to be? And can you even pinpoint it on this team to one or two things?
Well, the keys to success, I think, mainly it's going to be keep doing what they've been doing all along, and then probably pitching and defense. And we're good in those two categories. So as we we found out last year in the regional, there's probably going to be a lot of low-scoring, close games. So that plays right into our hand with our strong defense and super strong pitching.
Well, Pat, you asked this team just what their strengths are, and it's a little bit of everything. Ask them what their weaknesses are, and it's a lot of nothing. It all adds up to a great shot at a possible national championship.
The key to playoffs for us would be definitely our offense and keeping up our batting averages. As a team, we've been hitting about a 350, and as long as we keep that up, we won't have to rely on one person to just come along and get all of our runs. We have individual players that are getting base hits, knowing that there's a big bat behind them.
Well, we're going to have to keep on hitting like we have been, and the defense keep it up also. I mean, our team, we have attitude to go out there and win. I mean, we won't expect anything else but a win.
I think that we'll do well in regionals and nationals because of our attitude, because everybody knows that we have the talent and the ability to be successful.
I think as long as we go out there and play the way we have been playing, we should come out fairly well. We've been doing a great job on offense. We've been a hitting team. Right now we're hitting 357 as a team, whereas last year we were only hitting 280 when we went up to regionals. So right now we have better hitters, we're making better contact, we're making better decisions, and that should come out on the positive side for us.
We're playing as a unit where it shows in our offense and our defense, playing as a team, and I think when we play as a team, we're unstoppable.
The competition that we're playing now is not as great, so we really can't wait to get up there to see the competition that they have. We're doing so well. I think the other teams have pressure to come out and beat us because we're the team to beat.
We are solid all the way around, defensively and offensively, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop us.
When we come out fired up, we need to play the same defense we've been playing and execute on offense. We've been really making good contact, and we just need to stay hitting.
I don't want to jinx us, and there's no wood to knock on, but I believe that I think we're going to do very well. And as long as, 40-4, so we've been doing great all season. As long as we can keep it up, we'll do fine.
The tough part of this softball team is trying to figure out that one key, that one person who really makes the difference in winning and losing, and that's going to make the difference as we go into regionals, because, Pat, quite simply, they don't have just one person that fits that role.
No, they don't. I mean, you look at the offensive power of this team, and you've got Kim Eason. She's putting up first-team All-American numbers, hitting like 460, and, she leads the team in hitting. But then, don't forget Sherri Waddell, who leads the team in home runs. You've got Melissa Carriere hitting over 400, can drag bunt, can get on base, steal bases. Shannon Sawyer is hitting for power, so you've got all those people that contribute.
Like we said then earlier, it's a little bit of everything for this team. Let's then try and find the great story idea for this softball team. And if there's a story out there, it's got to be, say, Heidi Wickham in left field, coming in from Tooele, Utah, and the great 2 years that she's had here at Nova.
Yeah, she is. Coming off last year, she was a second-team All-American. Her numbers might be down a little bit this year, but she's still hitting above 400. Maybe not the power numbers, but she's still scoring runs. She's playing that great defense that she's known for.
Well, Pat, Heidi Wickham, she's been a great asset to the Knights. She's been somebody that the Knights could look up to, and somebody that has the Knights on target to a successful playoff run.
Heidi is an awesome player. She has always been great ever since I've known her and played with her. She's very intense and focused. She knows what she's doing.
Well, Heidi came in as an impact player. She came in with the idea that she was going to be playing in the infield, and she wound up playing in the outfield, and she's been a solid outfielder for us. She's been running down a lot of balls that would have been base hits. And, yeah, she's hitting a quiet 400. Every once in a while she'll break one through, but she's been very consistent. She hits the ball hard.
I do put a lot of pressure on myself to be better up to bat, I think, than I have before, just because I think it's more relaxing in the outfield, and then I can focus when I get up to bat. So I expect my batting to be a lot better.
In high school, she played shortstop, and she was the best player I've seen. She had a rocket for an arm. She could get to any ball. She would just hit line drive after line drive. I just wanted to be as good as Heidi.
She's a role model. Not only is she successful on the field, but she also is very successful in the classroom. She has a 3.6 GPA. She was an academic All-American last year as well as an All-American, and she was the second athlete in school history to achieve that. Yeah, they look up to her in both areas.
I know that I could be playing better, and I think with this being my senior year, I put a lot of pressure on myself that I want to be the best. I don't want to just settle for what is okay. I want to be the best. We don't just have one person who always comes through. It's always someone different, and I think our team is solid, and I love having a solid team. It makes it a lot of fun to play.
Keys to success. We've got the real keys to success for both the baseball and softball teams right after this on NSU SportsBeat.
Someone out there needs help, and you've decided to save them. Every year, thousands of people die waiting for organ and tissue transplants. To be a donor, even if you've signed something, you must tell your family now so they can carry out your decision later. Otherwise, it's like throwing a 12-foot rope to someone who's 15 feet away. Share your life. Share your decision.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Your first time as a Junior Achievement Elementary School volunteer can be a little scary. Can you get kids that young to think about their futures? Call us about volunteering, and you'll see. We'll supply you with training for this new program, and the kids will supply plenty of motivation.
Hey, welcome back to round 3 of NSU Sports Beat. Mike Laderman still here with the good Dr. Pat Feely. And Pat, I feel like I should have my lucky rabbit's foot with me or something, because we're talking superstitions here, and baseball is known for having quite a few of these things.
Oh, they certainly are. I mean, you look at Wade Boggs, who has to eat chicken before every game, and Turk Wendell, who has to jump over the lines and then brush his teeth between innings, and other guys, when they get on hot streaks, don't change their socks or wear the same shirt, sleep with their bat. So there's a lot of crazy things that baseball players do.
Well, Pat, Nova Southeastern is no different than any of the pros, because let's face it, as long as they're standing in the same place and they have their lucky pebbles in place, then nobody has any worries.
I think in baseball, when things are going good, you don't want to change anything, whether it's putting on your uniform the same way every day, wearing the same socks, maybe wearing the same T-shirt. There are plenty of superstitions in this game, and most baseball players have a couple of them.
I have a few superstitions. One is a seed that I found at the beach with my oceanography class. It's usually located in South America. And I found it one day, and I was really struggling at the plate, and I thought maybe I'd keep it with me during the game, and I haven't hit a grand slam that day. Ever since I've been hitting.
I always usually sit in the same place when I come in the dugout. When I first come in, I get a drink of water, and I won't get a drink of water again until we have 2 outs.
I wear this hat. I've been wearing it since my freshman year. I wear it to every practice, every game. It's a little luck that I believe in. I don't wash it. People think it's disgusting, but I like it.
I won't step on the line, and I won't pick up the ball. I have to kick it first onto the mound and then pick it up.
One superstition I have is I make sure I shake the pitcher's hand after the bullpen right before the game starts. Me and Ben Prill do a little sort of handshake that we have. Norberto, I make sure I shake his hand.
A superstition that I have is that I wear a cross in my shoe. When I go up to bat, I always like to kiss it for good luck. And I always have to call timeout before I hit.
Probably the only other superstition I really have is me and Matt Bennett during the national anthem stay all the way to the end, maybe about 10 feet from everybody else. It's something that when Bob Deutschman was a pitcher coach, me and him used to do, so I'm sort of just carrying that along a little bit.
I will put my shoes on the same way, or I may not change my socks. Try not to change anything to change our luck.
I wear my socks, my stirrups inside out. If I have a good day at the plate, a couple hits or so, I'll wear the same underwears. I'll wash them first.
Yeah, it's probably pretty ridiculous, but I guess, you know, if it gives you the confidence you need or whatever, I guess whatever works.
I think it's mental. I think if you believe it works, then it does, and if you don't, then I don't think it really works.
What I can't believe about the softball team is the amount of superstitions that they have, Pat. I mean, it took me literally 3 hours to go over with the softball team the amount of superstitions, going over each and every one.
And it was a page after page after page list. I mean, everything from Cameran Morgan only being able to pick up the ball with her glove and not her hand, Coach Robyn Handler having to do the lineup in pencil, other players that have to run next to each other in warm-ups, throw with the same person every time, wear the same clothes. The pitchers, and only they can pitch off this certain pitching rubber in the bullpen before the game. So they've got some strange things on the softball team.
And the funny thing is, they know it's not the only reason for their success. But at the same time, they'd hate to have to go into battle without their lucky charm.
I don't really know why there's so many superstitions. I think once you get in the habit of doing something and you feel comfortable with it and you do good one game, that you just keep doing the same things over and over again. So I think that's why there's so many superstitions on this team.
I think the superstitions just started on an individual basis, and then all of a sudden we all sat down together and said, yeah, this is what we do before the game. And by the time we were done, everybody had about 5 or 6 different things that they do before a game, and it just became part of our routine. It became part of our warm-up.
My main superstition is that I always, whenever I'm pitching, I have to be chewing gum, preferably bubble gum, and I can't step on the lines. The main thing is that whatever works. If I don't do something, then I have to not do it until something goes wrong, and if I do something different, then I have to keep doing it until something goes bad.
I have a lot of superstitions, and they're just little things that I've picked up over the 12 years of playing softball. Like before the game, when I get here, I have to wear my special game necklace. I take 4 warm-up pitches. After 4, I'll point in the air to the catcher to indicate throw down. Then I take 2 steps behind the mound, look at the shortstop and say, "Are you ready, Fred?"
This is kind of weird, but I put my right sock on and then my left sock on and then my right shoe on and then my left shoe on. And if I don't do it, then I have to take them all off and do it again.
After that, I take 2 steps outside the circle, tap my foot twice, and we're ready.
Kim Eason, who plays first base, she has to pick up the ball before I can warm up. And once she picks it up and gives it to me, I have to do a handshake with Julie Levy, and then I can warm up. And then me and the SID, we have our little point thing going on.
Being from California, I have these gummy worms, Lucky Worms. They're sour, and they have to be from California, so every month I get a shipment from my mom. It's about 20 or 30, and then everyone on the team, every game, has to have one.
If my socks are not white, it just doesn't happen. I actually search my laundry for the whitest socks, and if they have any dirt on them, I don't wear them. And I have to have 2 pairs of socks on my left foot and just 1 on the right foot.
Someone's got to eat one every game, or else who knows what happens.
I don't know if it works, but it gives you something to focus on rather than focusing on the pressure that's on you.
If that doesn't happen, I'm a nervous wreck during the whole game.
If the ball hits the ground, it's bad karma, so none of the balls can hit the ground.
Maybe it's a little bit contagious. Once one person starts to do it, we all start to do it. It's kind of fun, too.
We think they work. Superstitions are part of the game. Everyone has 1 or 2 or 3 or 2 pages full.
Baseball and softball playoffs, and then that's it, Pat. This year is over. But hey, we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We hope you have a super summer. May all your days be great and all your nights be Nova. For Pat Feely, Steve, Victor, Dina, and the rest of the NSU SportsBeat gang, I'm Mike Laderman. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Be good.